My wife's family held an intervention for me at my own house. We're tired of pretending you matter, her sister snapped. My wife nodded. This is why no one respects you. I brought out the contracts they all signed. I owned everything. I smiled. Then asked them to leave. Now they're blowing up my phone, 113 missed calls begging for forgiveness. I walked into my own kitchen and found my wife's entire family already seated like a tribunal. Not a word from her beforehand. Just a group text she forgot to send. That's when her sister leaned forward, wine already in hand, and said, "We're tired of pretending you matter." My wife didn't flinch. This is why no one respects you, Mark. Her father nodded solemnly like I was a child being expelled from Sunday school. It was my house, my furniture, my food they were eating. And yet somehow I was the outsider at my own table. What none of them realized, what made me smile even as her mother started crying fake tears into a napkin, was this. They had all signed their leverage away, one document at a time. It started 4 years ago when I married Leah. Her family looked polished on the outside, upper middle class, shiny careers, annual family photos in coordinated outfits, but underneath that, parasites, smiling sociopaths in sweater vests. They never liked me. I wasn't their class. I didn't summer in Nantucket. My parents ran a print shop. I built software. I wore sneakers to dinner. But I had one advantage. I listened when they talked. And they talked a lot. When Leah's father wanted help setting up his real estate portfolio, I helped for free. When her sister Danielle needed a loan for her dog grooming business, I gave her the seed money in exchange for 15% equity, which she eagerly signed for with a glass of rose in one hand. Leah's brother, Max, begged me to co-sign a lease for his photography studio because his credit was temporarily wrecked by a bitter ex. I did. As long as the LLC was in my name. Every time they mocked me, I smiled and took notes. Every time they called me Mark the Mouse, I added another clause. And now? I owned the house they were sitting in. The business Danielle ran. The studio Max claimed on his Instagram bio. All of it. Legal. Binding. But tonight was special. Because this wasn't a normal intervention. This was an ambush. Leah stood up like she was on a courtroom drama. Mark, this marriage isn't working. You're emotionally unavailable. You isolate me from my family. You work too much. You don't support my dreams. Her dreams? TikTok handle reviews and blaming toxic productivity for not getting out of bed before noon. I want a divorce, she said, glancing around like she was waiting for applause. Her sister actually clapped. Her mother whispered something like, "Brave girl." Then they all started talking at once. "We support you, Leah. You deserve better. This man has held you back long enough." That's when I stood, walked calmly to the hallway, picked up the black folder I kept for moments like this, returned to the table, dropped it with a thud. The room stilled. "These," I said, "are the contracts each of you signed. Danielle, here's your business agreement. Read Clause 7B. I can dissolve the company without notice and retain all assets." She went pale. "Max, your studio lease? I'm your landlord. Your art space is now a storage unit. As of tomorrow." Max opened his mouth, closed it again. "And Leah," I turned to my wife. "Our prenup? Ironclad. You get nothing. Not the house. Not the savings. Not the investments I let you believe were mutual." She laughed. "You can't do that. My name's on the account." I smiled wider. "No. It's on a mirror account I created to look like a joint one. Yours was never funded. You've been shopping on a prepaid card for 3 years." Her jaw literally dropped. Her mother gasped like she'd seen a ghost. "I want you all to leave," I said. "Now." Danielle stood. "You're bluffing." I handed her a printed email from my lawyer. "Effective immediately, your business is being liquidated." Max looked like he was going to throw up. Leah's father muttered something about overstepping. I didn't care. They left. Not all at once. In little fragments. Like a broken shell of what they thought they were. That was 2 hours ago. Yeah? 113 missed calls. Voicemails. Texts from Leah, "Can we talk? You didn't mean all that, right?" From Danielle, "This is illegal, right? You can't do this." From Max, "Dude. Come on. We're family." And the cherry on top? Leah's mom posted on Facebook, "Prayers needed. Some people show their true colors too late. Betrayed by someone we trusted." Trust? They never trusted me. But I trusted one thing. Greed blinds people. Especially when you make them feel smarter than they are. Final note, I haven't replied. Not yet. But tomorrow? Tomorrow I make it public. Every contract. Every receipt. Every clause they never bothered to read. This isn't revenge. It's literacy. Let's see how many followers Danielle has after people find out she doesn't even own her own dog shampoo. Update 1. They thought the public would side with them. Instead, everyone saw the truth. Now they're destroying each other, and Leah's final message just said, "Please don't show them the video." Let me be clear about something right out of the gate. I wasn't going to go public. That was never plan A. But when Leah's family turned our private wreckage into a PR campaign, I realized silence was just a second invitation to get stomped. It started the next morning. I woke up to find that Leah had posted a 3-minute video to Instagram titled, "What Emotional Abuse Looks Like, My Truth." She was crying. Candlelit. Background music. The whole thing felt like a commercial for depression. She said I'd controlled her financially, isolated her from loved ones, and my personal favorite, invalidated her creative journey as a woman. Then came Danielle's post echoing the same themes. She claimed I sabotaged her business after rejecting her advances. Yes. You read that right. She implied I torpedoed her dog salon because she turned me down. Max posted a vague story about losing everything to a narcissist in disguise. Even Leah's dad jumped in. Wrote a LinkedIn essay. I swear to God. LinkedIn. Called me a cautionary tale about unchecked ambition and said I was the reason generational wealth can't be trusted to outsiders. Within 24 hours I was painted as the villain in a digital opera of victimhood. Hashtags. Cry faces. Passive-aggressive quotes. Comments like, sending love queen, you're so brave. Or, can't believe you stayed strong through all that abuse. Proud of you. I kept screenshots of everything. Then I opened my email and saw it 2 cease and desist letters. From Leah's family lawyer. They wanted me to remove my own name from the company paperwork I legally owned. Claimed I'd forged documents. That I'd exerted undue influence over naive family members. That's when I snapped. They wanted war? Fine. I posted once. One single post. A 7-minute video. No tears. No drama. Just the contracts. I held each one up. Zoomed in on the signatures. Date stamped. Witnessed. I showed the studio lease with Max's actual initials next to the clause where he surrendered rights in exchange for my cosign. I showed Danielle's equity contract, signed on the patio of their lake house, wineglass visible in the corner of the scan. She even drew a smiley face next to her signature. She thought it was cute at the time. And the best part? I read from the prenup. The line that said, spouse agrees no claim may be made to assets acquired before or during marriage without written consent. Her signature was dated 2 weeks before the wedding. Then I ended with a clip. One they didn't know I had. See, 6 months ago, Leah had been on a podcast. It was tiny, local, Women Who Win. A friend of mine edits that show. She didn't know. At the 32-minute mark, Leah bragged about how she was going to marry smart, divorce richer. Said, Mark's boring but stable. I'm building my exit slowly. That's the trick. Slow enough he won't notice. I let that clip play last. No commentary. Just silence. My video hit 500,000 views in 12 hours. The internet turned like wolves smelling blood. Danielle lost 2 sponsors. Max's landlord, the one who subleased his second space, canceled his contract. Leah's emotional abuse video was quietly deleted. Then came the texts. Leah, you made your point. Can we stop now? Danielle, you're ruining lives over what? Pride? Max, bro, you're blowing this way out of proportion. But the worst? Was Leah's second message. If you care about me at all, please don't show them the other video. That stopped me. Because I had forgotten about it. See, a year ago, during a family trip to the lake house, I had installed a doorbell cam at our house while we were away. The install was recorded automatically on a cloud drive. It wasn't interesting, just me muttering about wires. But the file was huge. I never watched all of it. So I did. And about 2 hours into that footage, after I had driven up to meet Leah's parents, she was still at the house. With someone else. In our living room. Laughing. Sitting on the couch. With her hand in his lap. It was her ex. Jason. Just a friend from college. The one I was insecure about. She didn't sleep with him. Not on camera. But she did say, you're the one I should have married. But I needed Mark's money to get back on my feet. And then she said the part that made my blood run cold. Once the candle brand takes off, I'll finally be done with him. You'll see. The candle brand. The one she started with money I gave her. The one I registered to her name, under my LLC. That's when I knew what the next step had to be. This wasn't about revenge anymore. This was about revelation. By the end of it, Leah won't just lose the house. She's going to lose the one thing she never knew I'd taken from her. The rights to her brand. And all the money it finally started making. She doesn't know it yet. But her candles? They're about to be sold by me. Under a new name. One she helped me brainstorm. Rekindle. Update 2. Leah showed up screaming that I stole her business. I handed her the trademark papers with her signature. You signed this after sex. Remember? Her dad collapsed. Her sister lost control and had to be restrained. I still didn't flinch. The day after I posted the receipts, the messages stopped being desperate. They became vicious. Danielle's boyfriend DM'd me threats. Max left a voicemail calling me a snake in a suit. Leah, once the queen of detached cruelty, suddenly sent me voice notes crying real tears, for once, about how I'd ruined her future. And still, none of them understood the worst wasn't over. Not even close. Leah's candle company, Aura Bloom, had finally gone viral. A TikTok influencer with 4 million followers posted a glowing review. Orders exploded overnight. Leah's site was trending. Inventory sold out in minutes. Her email list grew from 900 to 47,000 in 48 hours. She thought she'd won. That karma had balanced out. That's when I made the domain redirect. Aurabloom.com now pointed to a different storefront. Same candles, same branding, but the site header said, "Brought to you by Rekindled. The fire is ours now." And the company bio? A collection reclaimed from the ashes of betrayal. Because here's the thing, Leah never read the fine print. 6 months ago, she asked me to help with LLC registration and e-commerce tax documents. We were still happy then, or pretending to be. We'd had sex that night. She called me her rock, as she signed the forms on our kitchen island. Those forms? They assigned 100% ownership of Aura Bloom IP to my holding company, Ashcraft Digital. I had proof. Video timestamped from our home cameras. She signed it after a romantic night and a drink. When the redirect went live, her phone must have lit up like a Christmas tree. I know because mine exploded too. Friends, influencers, collaborators, confused customers. They wanted answers. So did Leah. She showed up at my house 42 minutes later, banging on the door like she wanted to break it down. When I opened it, she was crying. But there was venom under it. "You stole my business," she screamed. "You can't do this. You're a monster." I held up the contract folder again, showed her the signature. "Here," I said. "Signed June 18th. Same night you called me your forever. Remember that." She grabbed the papers and ripped them up like that would reverse reality. Didn't matter. I had 6 digital copies. 1 notarized. 1 submitted with the trademark application. Then came the nuclear moment. Leah's dad showed up. He saw her crying in the driveway and actually tried to chest bump me. "You're destroying my daughter," he shouted. "You think this makes you a man?" Before I could answer, Danielle arrived. With a box cutter. She waved it around like a prop, eyes wild. "This is harassment," she shouted. "You're going to pay for this." Zoe, my lawyer, friend, and the one who helped me draft every piece of this chessboard, was parked across the street, filming everything. I didn't have to call the cops. I just emailed the footage to the local station with a pre-written statement about escalating harassment and trespassing. Within 30 minutes, a cruiser pulled up. They didn't arrest anyone, but the officers were firm. They told Leah's dad to leave, told Danielle to put the knife down. When they hesitated, Zoe stepped out of her car with a binder. "Hi, I'm their legal counsel," she said. "These individuals are not only violating a restraining boundary set by our prior petition, they're also threatening the rightful owner of multiple assets in active dispute." Danielle dropped the box cutter. Leah's dad sat on the lawn like someone had unplugged him. And Leah? She just whispered, "Please, just give me something back." So I did. I walked to the garage, came back with a shoebox. Inside were old love notes, Polaroids, the bracelet I bought her in Prague, a flash drive with our wedding photos, all the sentimental garbage people cling to when they think memories can erase betrayal. I handed her the box. "You can have this," I said, "but you don't get to keep what you built on lies." She took it, didn't say a word, just got in her car and drove off. Later that night, I got one last text from her. "I'll never forgive you. You were supposed to love me, not outsmart me." That's the part that still echoes. Because she's right. I did love her. But I stopped when she weaponized that love to feed her family's delusions. The business? That wasn't revenge. It was a refund. Because guess what? Now Max is trying to sue. And I have the photos of what he did last summer in Arizona. He shouldn't have left that hard drive plugged in. Update 3, final Max tried to sue. I sent his lawyer 43 photos from the retreat in Arizona. He withdrew in 2 hours. Leah's family has fallen apart. Her mother is now begging me to erase the past. So I sent her the invoice. Max thought he had a case. He really believed he could paint me as the manipulative villain who exploited a naive family during a time of emotional vulnerability. That was the phrasing in his lawyer's letterhead email. The demand? $250,000 to settle all pending and future disputes amicably. I didn't reply right away. I just pulled up the folder marked AZ_23_unreleased on my encrypted drive. Last summer, Max flew to Arizona for a creative retreat with a few influencer friends. One of those friends, Tommy, left his hard drive in my office when he crashed at our house after an airport delay. Tommy's hard drive auto-backed everything from his SD cards. Max didn't know that. I did. 43 photos. For videos. What they showed. Let's just say it wasn't creative work. There were some questionable activities were happening. There was a girl, definitely not 21, wearing Max's signature necklace, holding a bottle labeled in Cyrillic, dancing inappropriately next to what looked like an object resembling a firearm. And there was Max, smiling like an idiot, waving a peace sign while doing things that make the phrase content creation feel like a war crime. I sent exactly 4 images to his lawyer. No commentary, no threats, just the subject line. Are we still moving forward with the lawsuit? 2 hours later, I got a call from a restricted number. The lawyer. Breathing heavy. This is highly inappropriate and legally questionable. I cut him off. Are we still moving forward? Silence. Then, Mr. Grant has elected to withdraw his claim. I thanked him. Max texted me that night. One line. You're not God, man. I didn't respond. But the next day, I mailed him a custom candle from the rekindled line. Label, Burned Bridges. Scent, ash, tequila, and regret. Meanwhile, Danielle's salon tanked. Once the truth about her contracts went viral, the Yelp reviews turned to bloodport. Photos of dogs half-groomed. Claims of price gouging. One review titled, "She gave my corgi a panic attack." Danielle DM'd me one night. Congrats. You ruined my life. I replied. No. I just held up a mirror. And Leah? Oh, Leah. She moved back in with her mother. The candle buzz evaporated when people realized she didn't own the brand. Her desperate attempts to start a new one flopped when Shopify blocked the domain transfer. She tried to sell custom aromatherapy kits on TikTok Live. Had 14 viewers. 3 of them were hate-watching. One was me. Last week, her mother emailed me directly. Begged. Said she understood things got out of hand and that everyone deserves a second chance. She wanted me to reconsider erasing the internet trail. She claimed it was for Leah's future. That she couldn't get hired anywhere with this reputation. I replied with an invoice. $428,000. Itemized. Emotional damages, $0. Candle IP buyback, $300,000. Reputation restoration services estimated $50,000. Opportunity cost of time spent defending myself, $28,000. Therapy bills I never sent them, $5,000. Penalty for calling me just a boring coder in front of their friends, $45,000. Total, $428,000 due upon receipt. She didn't reply. I didn't expect her to. That was never the point. The point? Sometimes the past doesn't want peace. Sometimes it wants a reckoning. I didn't set out to burn bridges. But when they lit the match, I built a damn furnace. Final edit. Leah posted a story yesterday. Just a white screen with text. Be careful who you marry. I screenshotted it. Then added my own. Be careful who you underestimate. Rekindled hit 1 million in revenue this quarter. And we're just getting started.